Hi everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Foraging Fortnight. So day 2 is bubble wrap. So I've sort of done the same as yesterday. I've made a few bits ahead of time and I'm going to make something at the end of the video. So I'll show you what I've done first. So obviously just using normal bubble wrap. So this, I've had a play with my jelly plate, which doesn't come out very often. I don't know why, because I really enjoy it when I do it. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm happy with that. I think it'll look quite nice. So I'm going to be making something with that. I did another sheet on the gel plate, which came out, it was a bit lighter. I didn't put the darker brown in, so I've used bits and pieces of that. I've just used what is it? It's like a receipt invoice, but it's, I think I bought it in Lanzarote. I might have bought it in Lanzarote. It's Spanish. So I just back that on some card, and there's a bit of the bubble wraps from the gel plate there. I've also made these 2 tags. So I started with these and I just did some printing using the bubble wrap onto the book page. Now, I don't know whether you can see that. Let me try and get that a bit closer. It was just an awful mess, and it didn't look like bubble wrap at all. It just looks blotchy. You can see there, look. So I had a rethink, and I used the other sheet from the gel plate, and I've put that over the top and I've stamped an image on those. I'm a lot happy with those now. I think they look quite nice. And what else have I got? I've got another partial receipt here. This is from a bigger book, but I cut the top off. I didn't like that. There's quite a lot going on with all the bubble wrap print, and then the stamping. So I thought that was better without the top bit on. And then that's going to be folded and go in a pocket somewhere. So I did another stamp on there. Then I had a play sticking bubble wrap onto card. So if I just pull that apart, that's just a piece of thin card. I stuck the bubble wrap on. Yeah, I stuck it so well it won't come off. And then I just stuck a natural coloured napkin over the top. So you get the texture. You can you see the bubbles? Yes, you can. So I thought, right, well, I must be able to make something with that. So that was my scrap piece, and I actually made a side pocket, which I really love. So you can see the bubbles. What I didn't want, I was a bit, I don't know, a bit indecisive about the bubble wrap and how to use it, because I don't really like plasticky things or shiny things, which brought me on to cover it using the bubble wrap for the texture and, you know, like the thickness, but covering it up with something. And that's like, I'm really happy with that. I think that looks really good. So that was another one. So let's get on with today's make. So I'm going to use the paper that I did on the gel plate, and I'll just show you. This one is my prototype, but this is nothing to do with bubble wrap. I didn't have another sheet I could use, so I just used scrapbook paper for this one. So that won't be going in the Foraging Fortnight journal, but it was just let's say a prototype, just so I could figure out what I was doing. So we've got a pocket up there, a pocket there, a pocket there, a pocket there, and a tiny one at the front. Let's get something a bit smaller. Tiny one at the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets. So I'm hoping that we can turn this into something like this. So let me try and remember how I made it now, because it was just playing about with the paper. So because I've done this on the gel plate, it was normal white paper on the back. So I've made an awful mess of ink in it. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. I think when it's put together it will be fine. I mean, it's quite sort of vintage and aged on the front anyway, so I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to start by folding it in half. Like that. I may adjust this a little bit. With this one, because I folded this over and it was the back of the page again, that's why I ended up putting these pockets on. But I might cut this corner off and flip it over. We'll see how it goes. So that will go about there. I'll fold again. And let's say I just made this up this morning. I don't know whether anybody's done this before. They probably have. I don't think it's anything terribly new or exciting. But yeah, that's definitely too much inking. So if I open that back out and get the paper trimmer if I can find it. I'm just going to take that piece off that. So let's refold that. Oh, what have I done there? I've folded that differently. Have I? Oh, I don't know. But that's nice anyway, because that's what I was going to do with that piece, was put it on there. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's turned out. So I'm just going to do some thumbnails. Let's just open that out. That's about the same as the other one. Now, I'm not sure that edge is totally straight, so I'm just going to check that with my trimmer. Let's get that straight. Yeah, slightly off. That's the best time to do that before you glue it. Right, so gluing together. So we need to glue up here. Sorry, can you see me? Like that. And from the middle up there and there. Oh, that's squirting out too much glue. wiping my cardboard. I might have to change it for a new sheet soon. I work on this just because it's a bit lighter. I'm hoping that you can see it better than actually working on the dark green self-healing mat. Right, so we're now on to decorating. So guess what I forgot? I didn't get any lace out, so I'm just going to have a quick look. I do have some orangey. Yeah, I quite like that actually. I have a look at this. I have more than enough here. That's going to last me forever and a day. I think that was £1 in a charity shop. Right, so I think I'm going to put it sort of level with the edge. I left this one off, but I think that's different because it's a sort of hanging lace with a straight edge. So I just followed the line of the fold there. Actually, do I go? No, I think we'll go that way. Let's move that one out. Yeah, we'll go that way. That looks nicer. So just get that off. Yeah, let's have a proper measure, and then I'm not using way more glue than I need to. That'll do. I'll trim the edges off when I've got it stuck down. So I do realise this is day 2, and obviously you may not even have an empty toilet roll middle yet. That's no problem. Just as soon as you've got one, join in with a challenge. And I'm conscious that this one as well was a gel printed one. Not everybody's got a gel plate. But if you're really careful, not like me, you could probably just print from the bubble wrap straight onto your paper. But like I say, I didn't have very much success with that. Alright, let's trim those edges off. Just get that bit there. That's nice. Right. So I pulled out. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to wipe my fingers. My fingers are sticky. I pulled out lots of labels and bits and pieces that I thought would go with the colours. That one went really well, I thought. Do you know, I don't even know whether that needs anything else behind it, or whether it just looks really good like that. I had that one, but that's too big really. I'm not sure I like that. That's a bit similar to the colour on the background. I think I'm going to go with that. Let's get that inked. I've just looked to my side and seen my background stamps and just remembered that actually I was going to work out which bits of the inked background on the back would be visible, and I was going to do a bit of stamping with a script stamp, but of course I've totally forgotten, and I've just jumped in and we're just making it. So there we go, we're just making it. I think I'll try a bit of book page behind that. I'm not sure it needs anything, but I'll have a look. Just trim that down a bit. No, I quite like that. Right, let's get that inked. This is a book page. That's something about flowers. It's from some sort of nature book. Right, I'm just going to do this and we're going to stick it down. This one as well. I think it's going to need some sort of label as well. So I've got some of those out in the right sort of colours. Yeah, I like that. I'm not sure about that one. That one's quite nice, but I wonder if it wants something stamping on it. I shouldn't know, I don't like the red on that. Oh no, I quite like that one actually. Let's go with that one, and we'll take that one off the side, because we can't get the whole thing in anyway. And I'll just trim that off. Oh, do you know what I've done again? I haven't inked my edges on that. I did this with the first one. That's just reminded me. So I'll just go around. Does anybody else do this, or is it just me? Just read too much about that one because it's got the lace on it. I just get ahead of myself. Let's put that in there and just do the edge. And same with that one. Right, so now I've got this extra triangle, the piece that I cut off, and I did put some extra pockets on this one, so I'm thinking I may turn that over and do an extra pocket there. So this is exactly what I did on the other one. I just sort of eyeballed it, put 2 marks on it. Get my trimmer out. Just ink the edges. It's already got quite a bit of this colour ink on the page, but it is actually showing up. I'm quite surprised. I'll put my over. Right. So I'm happy with that, but it's going to want something on the front of that. That's a bit plain. But it gives us an extra pocket. Just got some bits of glue there. Just got my baby wipe. Try and keep those off. Right, so that's about all I've got left of that. So maybe we could do some sort of little... I think I might cut that butterfly out. Make some sort of little cluster to go there. But we'll have this butterfly as the focal point on the top. I think that will look rather nice. I've just realised, am I even in frame? I'm so used to working right on the edge of my desk that I sort of forget when I'm filming. And I haven't done any filming for ages. I don't think I've done anything since Foraging Fortnight. I've got a massive pile of journals that all need flip-throughs filming. But of course, that is now going to have to wait until after Foraging Fortnight's over, because I'm far too busy with this. Ooh, quite like that. Yes, I like that. So I'm going to cut that there. And then we'll do some inking. I've got a lot of tidying up to do when I finish this video. I was getting all the labels and pieces out. I've got them all in a big tub. When my scraps get too much on my table, I just get them all out and stamp labels, butterflies, flowers. So all these have come out of a big tub, which I balanced somewhere, and I didn't balance it very well. They're all over the floor now. So that's going to be my next job after I've done this video. But of course this is more fun. Now if I didn't have the butterfly, I wouldn't be keen on that corner, but because that is going to hide that, I think that looks really nice. So I'll just get some glue on the butterfly. I need to give that another trim. And there we go. A nice little pocket made with bubble wrap printing. My mind went a bit blank there. So I thought I could use some of the, yeah, that one I made to go in there. Oh, that might be too much actually with that. Yeah, I don't like that in there. That one there. I'm not sure I want the same next to each other. But then I've got these bits which I've stamped as well. Tickets, that's just stamped on some digital paper that I was using for something, I can't remember what. What else have I got? Oh, that's another one that I've stamped. And I've just tried to find things with sort of similar colours. I'm going to need some really tiny things. I might end up backing some little labels. No, that might be too small actually. But I'll find something to go in that smaller pocket at the front. And something to go in there that's not the same as that. And like I say, I don't like the circles and the circles together. So I will use that, but I'll put that somewhere else in the journal. So there we go. I'll just move the mess away. So we have the pocket, the tags, the whale tail tag, and the side pocket, all made with the help of bubble wrap. So I hope that's inspired you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.